it's numeric in terms of various types of targets that they think they're going to knock down, they're going to destroy. That's his clear objectives. The problem is Iran is asymmetrically firing their rockets at major. You saw it yesterday. Liquefied natural gas, oil refinery places in the Red Sea and in Kuwait and Qatar. It's causing a ripple effect around the world. So winning decisively may be knocking out their boats and their missiles and their infrastructure, but this is like a Tom Clancy novel in terms of the impacts spreading around the world with no end in sight.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time today, Tony, talking about U.S. stockpiles, talking about, where defense spending is going, who benefits off of this, and, the upcoming military spend seems to be giving probably a lot of the big defense contractors and the whole supply chain a lot of visibility going forward because the spend's going to continue. What are your expectations? Is that it? We are now living in a world where it kind of blows my mind. I thought the whole idea was that we didn't have to spend so much on defense going forward. Do you see this as the whole world kind of upping their defense spending because we kind of have to going forward? Or is this just an administration right now that is really focusing on this?
I think it's the administration. Here's a couple things you need to keep in mind. There's $1 trillion was passed for 26. The Pentagon got another $153 billion from the big, beautiful spending reconciliation bill. And now there's a talk of a $1.5 trillion 27 budget, and now this potential $200 billion supplemental. So if I'm the Office of Management and Budget, I'm scratching my head thinking, how can the defense industry absorb all this money? How can it be spent efficiently? So that's the conundrum that they're dealing with right now. You can throw all these figures out. Thinking it through, though, how can the money be spent so efficiently if our industrial base is as problematic as Secretary Hexeth says it is, especially on all his Arsenal of Freedom tours? So there's a lot of talk here. We'll know a little bit more. We'll know better in April about how the dollars spread out. But how do you absorb all that money? And then the other thing, if polls show that drop in support for the war, for this endless, even though we're decisively winning war, that's going to embolden a number of congressmen, I think even Republicans, to vote against massive increases because they'll have top cover from their voters.
Listen, I'm going to ask the idiot question in the room. It's like if we're winning decisively, like we all keep asking this in the newsroom. I think everybody's asking it. I think the president was asked her, if we're winning decisively, why do we need to even continue spending? Why do we need another $200 billion? And as you say, how do we absorb it? Is there a good chance that this money is there and it's actually can't be spent because we can absorb it?
Yeah, there's a good chance that could happen. OMB, one of their jobs is to decide on spend rates, what the capacity is of the industrial base, and how the money can be. Are there enough workers to make all the equipment they want? There's a new hypersonic weapon that the Army is going to field. A couple days ago, the head Army general in charge of the program talked about how a lot of Lockheed's program was hand tooling on specific components. I was scratching my head on that. So there's a question of absorbing. You can say all you want about the big figures, but then in the end of the day, how can it be spent efficiently? And will Congress go along if a number of their voters are increasingly disenchanted with the war? That gives top cover to say, enough is enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, the politics of this, Tony, and to what extent that money even ends up being released, because do Democrats get on board here?
Not really. I don't think they will. If you've got a $200 billion supplemental, which, by the way, there was a trial balloon floated yesterday by the Washington Post through the administration, that is still being vetted by OMB. I guarantee it's going to be a bit less than $200 billion. But the politics and the money on this, that's going to drive a lot of the debate. I think the poll numbers are going to drive a lot of the debate. And also, if we're decisively winning, nobody asked this today of Hexeth. He only called a lot of his right-wing softball artists.
Are they the only ones there?
Nobody asked him that.
Yeah, are they the only ones there, though?
No, I was there. There were about 20, I would say about 20 mainstream reporters who all left in October. But he didn't call on any of us. He's got like a seat. We all have seating chart, names on the seats. There's a seating chart. So he calls the comfortable right wing who aren't going to press him. Nobody asked about the Strait of Hormuz. When do you open it? What is the purpose of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, General Kane? Nobody asked those questions. And if we're decisively winning, how do you explain oil prices skyrocketing because Iran is able to knock the hell out of certain places in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait?